Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday the 4th of September with FLOSSTUBE number 141. I'm coming to you standing today. Had a rough week with my back, so my back's been a bit niggly for a few weeks since I got back from Dad's. It always goes a bit weird after I sleep in his terrible spare bed. It's just been a bit rough, and it's kind of funny how it's like 25 years ago when I had my really big back injury and ended up in hospital for a month and having to have surgery and rehab and learning to walk again and stuff like that. So in the back of my head it's like, is this some kind of weird muscle memory thing, you know? But anyway, it's fingers wood, touch cross. Touch wood, fingers crossed. I think it's on its way to getting better, so huzzah. But usually when I record I sit, I often have to get up 2 or 3 times, hence a lot of cuts, because I'm like, oh, I forgot that thing. So I didn't want to have to get up and down. And anyway, welcome to my FLOSSTUBE. Believe it or not, it's a video about cross stitch. What's been going on? Yeah, so odd week. Took Tuesday off sick because I just had a terrible night on Monday night, Tuesday morning, and just there's so much spasm, and just it was rough. Anyway, and yeah, work was a bit tricky with my back being sore and having to lug my backpack around and stuff. But I did manage. I apologise for the banging. It's a really lovely warm day. The sun has come out after weeks and weeks of rain, and I've got the door open so my blinds are going to bang. It's going to be annoying. You'll also probably hear lawnmowers. I really need to get out and mow my lawn, but I don't want to push it with my back, so I might work from home on Wednesday, and fingers crossed I can get my lawns mowed on Wednesday. But anyway, yeah, rough week at work. Well, rough week working. It's amazing how much pain makes you distracted. But yeah, I did manage to get my shit together and head in, get hair appointment on Wednesday afternoon, and I also went to the movies with some friends from work on Wednesday night. So we went to see Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, and it was lovely, and we laughed and felt a bit sad, and it ended really nicely. And then so I told my dad he should go and see it because he got his car back again, and I'm like, go to the movies, like, you know, anyway. So I think he'd mentioned a couple of weeks ago he'd seen it advertised and thought it might be quite good. So I rang him on Friday, I think, and I was talking to him and I said, oh, you should go to that movie. He goes, oh, I don't think it'll come for Whakatane. And I said, well, I've already looked up the movie theatre website, and yes, it is on. It's on at 3:15 on Saturday, and it's $10 for old people tickets. So he went and he really enjoyed it, so I'm really pleased. So I think he sort of realised maybe going to the movies is something he could do more often, as long as there's something decent on, really. So he's doing okay, enjoying using the car. And I haven't talked to him today. I know we had a late night watching the rugby, the All Blacks, and then I think there was an Australia game. He went over to his neighbours to watch it because they have Sky TV and it plays live, I guess. Good news last week too, my stepmother got transferred from the home she was at, the dementia, the home/dementia ward she was at, over to the hospital ward in Mountain View in Kawerau, and she seems to be settling in quite well. They're going to keep her on all the same meds and stuff for a couple of weeks and just see how they go. But because they have a hospital ward there, they have a lot of full-time registered nurses and doctors who are on staff, or at least consultants that come, you know, half a day kind of thing. So that's really good. That's the kind of care that she needs now. So Dad said she's settling in pretty good, and he's going down most days, I think, because it's like 2 minutes away in the car. So that's worked out really well. So we're really pleased that she's now somewhere that she can get different kind of care. Like, she was getting really good care where she was, but it wasn't you know, they had a nurse on staff, as opposed to this place has lots of nurses because it has a hospital ward. Thanks to everybody for coming back and watching the channel and for subscribing. Subscribers keep ticking over, which is really nice. So we're definitely over the 1,000 now. And for anyone who hasn't had a chance to watch yet, go back and watch video number 140, which is my I made it to 1,000 video. Yep, 140. And I've got a nice giveaway on there. You do need to watch, and it's near the end, so you can fast forward it if you really have to. But there's some instructions that are in there which are important, just because I want people to make a little bit of effort to enter the draw, and also it reduces the likelihood of it being someone who isn't a stitcher, a subscriber, you know, having to make up lies about the question that I ask. So yeah, it's been quite popular thus far, but I'm keeping it open for another 3 weeks. So I think I said the 24th or something around that date. That Sunday I'll draw all the winners, and then but yeah, go back, watch video number 140, FLOSSTUBE 140, and you need to answer on that video. I haven't had anything new come in. Again, 5 weeks, I think it's 5 weeks tomorrow that I'm going to be going to Brisbane, well, just north of Brisbane, to stay with my sister and family. So I just am saving all my spare pennies, so we can do stuff over there, and as I said before, I hope to go to All Threads, plan to go to All Threads in Brisbane to do a little bit of looking and hopefully a little bit of shopping. Yeah, so that's just, been a little bit, I just spent a little bit of time actually on Etsy, just thinking, oh, I could buy something, so I've got something to show, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend any money, so I just didn't. It's kind of like, actually there's quite a few shops have disappeared. I still had things favorited, and you know, when you go onto it, it says that, you know, the shop isn't active at the moment, like Russian shops and stuff, but those favorites aren't even showing now, so I don't know if Etsy's done a bit of a cull or actually shut, I don't know. It's just a lot less in my favorites folder, whereas, you know, I was hoping one day some of those sites would come back again and we could still buy some of those charts. I don't know, it's a little bit, I feel conflicted obviously, because what's happening in Ukraine is wrong. I believe the Russian invasion of Ukraine is wrong. It's a bit scary what's happening around the nuclear power plant at the moment, but you know, a little cross-stitch designer in Russia has, you know, no influence over what's happening with the politics and war and stuff, yet, you know, their income's being cut because of this, so it's hard. Again, sorry about the banging, I know that, Seb, if you've got a headache, sorry about that. I'm just going to shut one of the doors. It's such a nice day, but it's so windy. Like, I mean, when I mean it's a nice day, it's very sunny and nice and warm and fluffy blue cloud, fluffy blue sky. You know what I mean? Blue sky with fluffy clouds. But it's really windy, like, you know, sort of gale, gusty, not nice to be out in. So that means everything bangs, and I'd ideally have the blinds, the sun filters fully up, but then I'll be like, I can't see, it's too sunny. We can't have that. So yeah, nothing new's come in. I got nothing due until later in the month, which will be my usual Rainbow Club / Silks for You. I'm waiting for a couple of things to become generally available. I'll see what's over at All Threads. There's a couple of things that I'd like from Expo, but there's so much of the Expo stuff, that's Needlework Expo, that was last weekend. I feel like it was last weekend. So many of the designs, because of the time of year, are Halloween and Christmas, which I don't really do. You know, it would be very rare for me to do a Halloween thing. It would be very rare for me to do a Christmas thing, although I do have a Christmas start on Christmas Day this year. My 50th start for 50 at 50 is going to be a Christmas piece. So look forward for that. So yeah, getting back to, because so much of it is very seasonal and themed, which I don't generally stitch, that's made it easy to cull a lot of the designs. There are a few couple of Kathy Barrick designs that I really love, but her stuff does become available in PDF eventually, so I'll just keep an eye on her Etsy page and buy a couple of those. And there's a couple of other interesting little samplers, but nothing that I wanted to put a big order in. So, you know, I just, there was nothing that I needed to get immediately, you know what I mean? I mean, it's a couple of exclusive things which would be nice, but I'm not going to make a big order, because it would be a big order because you don't order one thing and pay for shipping to New Zealand, right? So yeah, all I've done is some stitching. So between bouts of when I could sit down and was comfortable, I'd get quite a bit of stitching done. I don't even remember part of the week, so I was so drugged up on tramadol, I don't really know what I was doing. And Friday night really sucked. It really like went all bez of me, and I ended up just stuck on the couch at one stage, and I was just like literally crying, going, oh my god, I can't get up, what the fuck, you know. So took ages for me to be able to get back up again, and then kind of shuffled around and got myself ready for bed and just went to bed quite early, just tried to get a comfortable spot with a wheat sack and some tramadol, and it sort of seemed to come right. So again, you know, touch wood, cross fingers, it's all good. Okay, let's talk about some stitching. So I've got 3 things to show you. First of all, because my start number 33, I wanted to leave till the 1st of September, being first day of spring, meaning the, oh god, now I get it mixed up. There's the meteorological first day of spring, and then later on the solstice is the, or equinox is the astrological first day of spring. I think I've got them the right way around. First day of spring, it's spring. I didn't want to start that until Thursday, whatever the first was. So I needed something to stitch in the meantime. So I decided to pick up Sunset by Carolyn Designs, which is on 20 count Corail from Tom and Lily Creations. That's the fabric there, if you need to see. It's a lovely colour. So yeah, 20 count Aida is 8 points in European sizing. And I started this way back on the 12th of January last year, 2021, and I decided to finish it. I think I had about, I can't remember, about 15% to go, maybe a bit more. But as soon as, when I picked it up again, I managed to pick a thread that I did a colour complete. And I was like, well, if I've started colour completing, I'm just going to colour complete all the way through. So I just kept on colour completing, and I got it finished. And it's amazing. Like, the colours are so rich that I just want to go, ah! I don't know why. It's just like, I imagine a big bowl full of jewels that I just took my hands in and they go falling down. I don't know. There's that thing, if you've watched The Hobbit, the trilogy, and the scene where Bilbo's met Smaug and the dragon, and he's sitting on his treasure pile, and as he moves, all the coins go tinkle, tinkle, tinkle down. Who doesn't love that sound? Who wouldn't love a big sound of gold and jewellery trickling down from their dragon hoard? I would love that sound. So, I don't know, it makes me feel like that. So, it's so rich and luscious. There is actually one stitch, as I was stitching one of the colours, there is a stitch in here, and I might go back and find it. One of the yellow, and there's quite a lot of yellow in here, one of the yellows has only got the bottom leg, and when I was stitching like the colour next to it, I was like, oh, I've missed the top stitch on that. And I was like, I must go back. I don't know where it is. If I might spend 5 minutes looking, and if I find it, I'll go back and stitch it, but maybe it'll be like a little secret. Oh, a secret between you and me. Have I just found it? I might need to get some reading glasses on or something, but yeah, it'll be in this top corner because I was stitching. This is all I had to do was in here, so it'll be somewhere in here, one of these yellow ones I think, but it's not obvious to me right now, so I probably won't. But there's this little secret, there's at least one stitch in here which I only half stitched because it's on 20 count. It's so little. I'm so happy with it. So finally got that finished. I finished I feel like I finished Sunrise, the companion piece. I think I got that in just before the end of the year last year. So it's good to get this one finished because I do want to start the Rosewood Manor Sunrise / Sunset next year. So I wanted to definitely get these out of the way, and also I have a plan to start during summer to start the 10,000 Lakes by Carolyn Designs, which is a chart that Chris gifted me, racked me a while ago. And I didn't want to have 2 full coverage Carolyn Mannings on the go at the same time. So I got to finish, but this was not a 50-50 finish. This was just a nice finish from my stash, from my whip pile. So then I had my new start, my start 33 of 50 for my 50 at 50, which was Rachael Holmes by Heartstring Samplery, which I'm not sure the fabric, I'm a bit confused by it. It's a 32 count. I had written down Light Mocha, I had written down weeks, but I don't believe it's weeks. It feels and smells more like just a plain Zweigart, although it has been, like, I've chopped it and overlocked the bottom, but it came like this, so I don't know who does overlocking with that black. So, e.g., it's not a pre-cut fat quarter from, in a packet from Zweigart. So I might have bought this from Elizabeth at Stitch NZ. Elizabeth, do you use black overlocker? And just got her to cut a piece. That's where I'm at. I'm using all my own silks. They're all silks for you, and just some pretty colours from my stash, and I went ham on this. So got that bottom sort of bottom quarter done maybe, and then of course started across here. There are 2 different bands here. There's a vertical line that goes here. Above all this there's another little band, and then all of the eyelet stitches, and then a band here with a lot of back stitch. So really looking forward to getting to those, but it's all complete to that dark blue line. And then yeah, I'm enjoying using the silk. It's the pattern. It's not a very good, like, it's hard to see, right? So I've picked colours that are similar to the called for, but just my own silks and stuff. So I think mine is gonna be a little bit brighter. Looks like the mustard, like the colour that I've pulled is quite a gold, and in the chart it's called for Weeks Dye Works Mustard. But yeah, so it's 32 count, and I'm actually using 1 strand of silk. I've got a couple of designs, like the Drawn Thread garden series, the Winter Garden that I finished. That's on 32 count, and it called for 1 strand of silk. And the silks for you is slightly thicker than, say, the MPIs, in my opinion anyway. So I started down the bottom with 2 strands, and after about 4 stitches I'm like, no, it's too thick. I don't like really thick stitching. So I'm just doing it with 1 strand. The coverage is really good. Maybe the worst is the dark blue, like anything dark blue and white can be weird. But these colours are really good coverage, and I'm really happy with it. And of course, because I'm using hand-dyed silk, I do have some variegation, like that green, those green diamonds. Green triangles across the bottom is 1 colour, but of course I'm getting some nice variegation in there. So I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I just found it really pleasurable to do. All these repeating patterns are easy, so you get in your head and you just can stitch them really quickly. I'm really enjoying that. So I'm gonna change the name. I'm just thinking about who I might put the name and date of birth in up here. So this is just a made up design, it's not a reproduction. I am thinking that I might do it just in commemoration of a great aunt. My mum's, we called her Auntie Moo. I think she was Muriel, so I need to look up some information about what her full name is because I can't remember. We just knew her as Auntie Moo. So Muriel, she was my granddad, my mum's father's, so my mum's aunt, mum's father's sister. I don't think she had any children because when she died, she left her estate to my sister and her siblings and stuff, or at least a good chunk of it anyway. I think some to her brother and the rest to the kids. So I just think it's really pretty, and my memory of visiting Auntie Moo, and I can't remember when she died, I think I was probably about 7 or 8, but I remember visiting her little unit or flat in New Plymouth, and she had a china cabinet filled with all sorts of lovely things like teacup trios, so your cup, saucer and lunch sandwich plate, and vases and trinket boxes and like lots of little lovely old lady things. And I remember my sister and I would sit and we'd just like look in this cabinet, and sometimes we'd be allowed to take something out to look at it with our hands, and I just remember it being pretty, pretty, and lots of florals and china and all that. And I think just the colours, this is quite a pretty colour palette for me, like lots of pinks and stuff, and it just reminds me of like an old lady's china cabinet. Does that make sense? So I think that I'm going to do this to remember my Auntie Moo, and I'll eventually, when I get it framed, I'll find an old picture of her. I'll get a copy of that and I'll write up what I remember about her, I can intend to put that on the back of the picture, because one day it'll end up in an op shop, one day someone will find it. I want to make it clear that I didn't stitch it in whenever she was born, like, I don't know, we're 1920, maybe the early 20s or the late 10s. She didn't stitch it, but that it was stitched as a commemorative piece, I guess. So I want to be really clear that this is not someone trying to fob something off as ancient, but someone might want to, it's a provenance of sorts. It's something that means something to me, and it's just, I only have a couple of memories of her, but they were nice memories. And as I said, I just remember her china cabinet, and when she died, she had left little things for all of the great nieces and nephews. So I had a little blue china jewellery box that she'd written my name on the bottom, which I don't have anymore, but I do have a picture of it. So I did keep a photo of it, because for me it's about the memory, not about the object. So anyway, that's what I think I'm going to do. I just have to look up some stuff that one of my aunts has given me, some of the genealogy stuff that she's done, and I can't remember. I can't remember what her, I don't know, I don't know what her year of birth was and stuff, so I'll work that out. Anyway, this is how I do things. I either don't care or I overthink. I'm a rip-bust kind of girl. So that is that one. Then yesterday, finally having woken up and not been in agony and having had that really rough night on Friday, but then just managed to ease during the night, and I got up and managed to get the dish. I hadn't been able to do the dishes, hadn't done the dishes for about 4 days. I couldn't stand at the sink and wash dishes because everything kept spasming, and I couldn't get anything in the bottom basket, so I couldn't put all the plates in. So I had a stack of plates. I'd had a lot of toast and tea over the last week. So I managed to finally get the dishwasher loaded and get a load of laundry on, and thank goodness, because it was down to my last pair of knickers. And felt like finally, I was at that point where if it hadn't got any better, I was going to have to call a friend to come and help me. Talk about calling, old lady calling for help. It got to the point where I was like, shit, I need someone to come and help me do some really basic stuff. But it's come right. So got all that done, and then I had a beauty appointment for some regular maintenance with my friend's business in Churton Park, which is the same area where a couple of stitchy friends live, and then went from there to have a little stitch in with Anne, at her place, and then Judith joined us on the interwebs, you know, via a video chat, because she's in the US and it was her Friday night. So because I was stitching with Anne and virtually with Judith, and Judith was stitching her penguins, she took her penguins with her to the USA, because I said to her, if you stitch on it, let me know, because then I can stitch on mine, because as you may recall, I did Ruskin's penguins as a start along with Anne and Judith. We started this on the 15th of January, so just before my 50-50 kicked off, and we all stitched on something different. Anne's already finished hers because she got overwhelmed with having too many whips. And then Judith's doing hers on 40 count, and it's amazing. I'm doing mine on 32, which I prefer it was on 40 count, but I liked the fabric. So anyway, I'm only stitching it when I stitch with them. It can be one of them, but because it's a tiny design, I would have finished it in a weekend otherwise, but I've dropped it, so I have to pick it up. It's great to drop things when your back hurts. Okay, so yesterday I got the second penguin, filled in the first penguin because he had a half white done. Then I got the second penguin done, filled him in, and then did that little heart and a couple of the sprinkles in the middle. So now I'll put this away until I pick it up again, which will probably be in October, end of October. We'll have I think it's the end of October. There are five Saturdays in that month, so on the 5th Saturday we will have a Wellington Stitchy gathering in Johnsonville, and I'll take this and I'll stitch it there. So hopefully I'll finish it that week. Even if I haven't finished it that weekend, I will probably just bring it home and finish it, because all I have to do are the words, which won't take very long, and the snowflakes, which the majority of them, they're not going to take that long. So, you know, I've done the lion's share of it. So yeah, Ruskin's Penguins by Modern Folk Embroidery, stitching this on 32 count Wintergreen from Country Stitch, using my own conversion, which is, I didn't bring it, who knows. So yeah, start the 15th. So yeah, I've never taken so long to stitch a tiny little chart, but it is so cute, and it's a lovely little design, so really happy. I've been really good at not stitching it, you know, quickly, because I could, because I'm like that. So all I've got left to show you is my next start, so start number 34, which will be today, this afternoon. Excuse me. So I've pulled out Nessie Mitchell 1929 by Mama Loves You GB. I'm going to be stitching this on 40 count The Cat's Whiskers by Tabby Cat, and I've not stitched on the linen before, so that's quite exciting. Got to smell the linen. It's nice. It's just a really, I kind of call it a chalky neutral. It's definitely on the greyish, sort of coolish grey. Yeah, for me it feels like chalk, like a chalk feels like. Like the old kind of chalk you'd use on a slate, not like man-made chalk, but like natural chalk. You know, like a chalk pit, chalk quarry, that kind of chalk. Crazy, eh? That's what she looks like. So it's an original sampler from Michelle, and she designed it to commemorate a stillborn, no, not stillborn, the firstborn of her grandparents, that the child died quite young, like possibly related to being premature. And excuse me, I'm going to use this Tom and Lily Creations thread called Verite or Truth. It's a really dark blue, slightly variegated. This has ended up being my European piece, because Tabby Cat linen is from France. I'm from a French dyer. The Tom and Lily is from France, a French dyer, and this chart design is charted by someone who lives in Wales, so an English, British lady who lives in Wales. So it's going to be a nice little one, and I think it'll be quite quick to stitch. I don't think that it's going to take me a long time. It's comparable to the Alexander's one. I've just stuck it all together. So it does have some Smyrna knots. I think they're Smyrna knots. They could be eyelets or Smyrna knots, but I do like it. The Smyrna crosses go over 2, so I'll probably use one strand of the thread for the majority of it, and I'll use 2 strands when I do the AEIOU, which is this in the Smyrna crosses, because they're done over. I'll just show you a bit of it. They're done over kind of 2. Well, they're done over the equivalent of 2 X's, so over 4 on linen, and then there's also some 1/1 with the name, and I think I'm going to do this for me, or I'll pick another family member. I'm not really sure. I sort of feel like I want this to be me, because the AEIOU reminds me of reading English, linguistics. I studied English and linguistics. Can't even say it. I studied English and linguistics in my Bachelor of Arts, and what else am I going to say? So I think I'll do this one just through my own personalisation. Other than that, that's it. So it's a bit of a random one today. I've got potatoes. I've got such a mess. My house is such a mess because I haven't been able to do anything. I'm like everything, I've got to keep everything up. If I drop it, it has had to stay there because I haven't been able to pick the bloody thing up. But I've got potatoes on my table waiting to sprout, so I can plant the bloody potatoes. I've got a peach tree in the garage that needs to be planted. I need to dig a hole. I don't know how the hell I'm going to dig a hole. And it's starting to flower. Like the bloody thing's coming into blossom in the bag, and I need to get in the ground. So yeah, I'm going to carry on, get an EC stitch this week. I'm so tempted to just keep going with Rachael Holmes because she's so much fun, and I really, really want to get to the section of, majority of this section here is eyelets. And I just love doing eyelets. I love doing eyelets and I love doing Smyrna crosses. They're just so much fun. I just want to stitch them. But I have to wait. I don't know. We'll see how we go. I should really pick up one of my other whips as well and give them some love. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to wrap this up, and thank you again for coming along. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the like button, or give me a thumbs up, whatever it's called. I can't remember. I've only been doing this for 141 times. And if you want, especially for people who are new, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the doobly-doo in the description box below. It does help. I do have, I'm quite generous with my giveaways, I guess. I pass the stash as often as I can, and it does cost me quite a lot of money. So it's nice to get $5 every now and then to help towards that. But, no obligation, but just in case you're not aware, I do have that there. Thanks again for your support. Be safe, be kind, find joy in your stitching, and as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.